Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal. And I'm here tonight with Bruce McCurdy. Hey, Bruce.
Hey, David. How are you doing tonight?
Good. We've rearranged our living room a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I have I can now work off two computers off this desk as I'm watching the game. So I got one where I was doing the game grades and one where I was doing the scoring chances data that we do every game. So that made my life
you weren't
vast
switching
improvement.
Screens all the time. You were switching computers. That's probably way better, eh?
Oh, it was great. No one else cares about that, but if you ask me how I'm doing, that was good. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Not very impressed. Right. Not very impressed with that hockey game, but the only time I really get upset is when I think the team that deserved to win didn't, and I have zero reason to be upset tonight because the team that deserved to win that game won that game handily, and that's just the way it is.
4-0, doing all right. Bruce, doing all right. When you said that, and a song lyric immediately popped in my head. I just want to slow driving on a Saturday night. What's the song?
Oh, slow driving on a Saturday.
Doing all right. Slow driving on a Saturday night or Friday night. It might be actually. Driver's Seat by Sniff and the Tears.
Sniff and the Tears. That is a great song too.
It is a great song.
I would have got to it eventually. Driving on a Saturday night.
Maybe it's a Friday night though. It's a song about. It's actually a song about personal agency and how the driver's seat is how we can all take control of our lives and lead better lives. And I didn't know that until I read the lyrics recently. I've listened to that song for 40 years. Has that song been out 40 years now? It is a fantastic song. The Kings were in the driver's seat tonight, Bruce. They outplayed the Oilers. They had some really strong goaltending from David Riddick. It was I was mentioning this earlier. It was the first game for the new coach. And I just wonder how many times, what's the winning percentage of a coach in his first game in the NHL in a mid-season change? And I bet you
it's high.
I'm guessing it's about 700 winning percentage.
The LA Kings, 100% of the LA Kings were fully invested in making a good first impression on the new man.
Yeah.
I saw that the way that this was lining up in the schedule. I thought not only they got the new coach, it's his first damn game. They're really going to be bringing it, and they really did bring it. And Oilers just had no answers tonight, David.
They did not, Bruce. The grade A shots in this 4-0 loss were 15-10 for the LA Kings.
Mm-hmm.
The 5 alarm shots were more even. I think Edmonton had 7 and the Kings had 6. So Riddick made 7. He had a shutout and he made 7 fantastic saves. There were some really good chances.
Any of them hit the post?
Power play. I don't know if we had. Oh, McDavid's, but that wasn't a 5 alarm shot. That was a grade A shot. McDavid hit the post, cutting in from that sharp angle. So we deem that a 25% shot for McDavid. And I think that's about right. He gets him about a quarter of the time.
Almost got it.
This is our 2 good things, 2 bad things, 2 numbers in 1 Conundrum podcast. Bruce, what is your good thing?
Good thing. Nobody got hurt.
I like that.
It was one of those games where you just expect disaster to befall catastrophe, you know?
Yeah.
And other than Philip Broberg getting hurt down in the AHL tonight, go figure. And, I haven't got my good thing is the LA Kings. They were very, very good, and they were much, much gooder than their opposition were. Much more invested in the game. And, they played hard and even beyond the whistle. And, they were just the better team tonight. So I hate to say it because I'm no big fan of the LA Kings, but they played a whale of a game and they overwhelmed Edmonton for the most part.
Yeah, they were just a better team tonight in all aspects of the game.
Every aspect of the game.
Yeah, they were. I'm tempted to say my good thing was Mikey Anderson going head first into the boards after that dirty hit on Zach Hyman, or then Evan Bouchard wailing a slap shot off Mikey Anderson. Those were pretty good things. But my good thing is there was a few Oilers players who played well, I thought. The Draisaitl line was strong, and Evander Kane's playing really some of his best hockey again that we've seen in a while. I think he's healthy after that break. I think he got healed up a bit. He's been fantastic. But I really noticed just by because they weren't out there for any kind of problems, whereas Kulak and Ceci, they just did a really good, solid job. They kept a clean sheet at even strength, meaning that they didn't allow between them, they didn't make a mistake on a grade A shot against at even strength during the game. They look good. And this is an interesting thing because and we talked about this, I think, last podcast, Ceci's now moved down the lineup. He's going to start looking real good to people, I think. People are going to say, that Cody Ceci's playing well. It's quality of your competition, which is, Desharnais looking a little rough around the edges all of a sudden. People are, Desharnais, is he getting a job done? Well, he struggles a bit, but he's playing more minutes and he's playing against tougher competition, and it's just going to be hard. And Darnell Nurse has faced this is for the last 5 years, just a steady stream of tough competition. Tonight, Darnell Nurse didn't have a good game at all, but this is how it goes when you're playing against really good players. But Kulak and Ceci, little less difficult competition. And they were just really good, I thought. What did they play? 16:57 at even strength for Ceci, and Kulak number 27, 15:45. So good for them. They were at least solid on a team that wasn't very solid.
Yeah. Well, here's a stat that I know you love, David: expected goals. And when they were on the ice tonight. Here's the Oilers' best to worst expected goals. Brett Kulak, 64%. Cody Ceci, 60%. Cody Perry, 51%. Holloway, 43%. Kane, 40%. And everybody else below 40%. And we're talking down near the bottom of the charts. McDavid, 34. Ekholm, 32. Bouchard, 28. Hyman 25, Desharnais 24. Like Edmonton's top unit got worked.
Well, Bruce, McDavid didn't make one major contribution to a grade A shot at even strength this game. That line didn't. That line didn't get anything at even strength. They got nothing done. So I gave Connor McDavid a 3 out of 10 in this game. Like, that's a poor game, and he had a poor game. He coughed up the puck. It was a tough play
on the 2-0.
On the 2-0 goal, key play, he loses it on the boards, and he knew that he was the last man back on that play. Bouchard had pinched in, and I think he had let the puck go because he knew McDavid was there, and McDavid picked it up, but he tried to make a move on the boards, and suddenly it's a 2-on-1. Just one of those moments in a game where maybe caution. I'm not going to ever tell Connor McDavid how to play. He just didn't execute when he usually does, and the defensive player made a good play.
Byfield, Quentin Byfield, the young hotshot in L.A., ate McDavid's lunch there, and then he ate Ekholm's lunch with the pass across.
Yeah.
And Trevor Lewis buried it like he does about once every 4 years, where he actually makes a good shot off a scoring chance. It's not his usual strength, but he made a good shot there, and that was basically the hockey game. Yeah, McDavid. I mean, I just remember there was it seemed like 2 times in the whole game. Maybe there was another 1 or 2, but where he actually got the puck and some room to skate up the ice and make some moves. And both times he bobbled and lost the puck with nobody around him. Just flat out lost it. He just didn't seem to have his fast twitch muscles under their usual orderly conduct tonight, and it was just an off game for him and for many of them. So, but they didn't get much from the captain in this game.
Yeah, his fast twitch muscles are usually going like hummingbird wings.
Yeah, well, they were too fast for his own good tonight. They were just not clicking, not firing in sequence.
All right, Bruce, what is your bad thing?
How many did we got? 30
Just
each? Just one?
just one.
Okay. Well,
We'll probably sneak in a few more.
I'm going to get a 2 for 1, and I'm going to go special teams. Yuck. Edmonton special teams, 4 power plays, nothing to show for it, including 3 in a row in the last 5 or 6 minutes of the second period. 12:26, too many men. 16:38, tripping. 19:06, too many men. Like they got gifted with 2 power plays. And they got a couple chances in there, but they could not put the damn puck in the net. In 4 chances, they got 6 in 8 minutes. They got 6 shots in net. LA Kings in 2 chances in 3.5 minutes got 5 shots on net and a goal. So out of the 6 special team opportunities, the Oilers special team failed 5 of the 6 times, and that was a part of the difference. I mean, they also failed at the 5-on-5 game, which is. You could pick this game apart and find a lot of bad things, but I'll just take the special teams as a 2 for 1 and say they didn't get the job done.
The power play did get some 3 5-alarm chances. Hyman had one. Draisaitl had he got off an executioner shot, and Nuge had one early in the third. So there was some good moments, but Riddick was better than they were in those moments. So. Yeah, they're not finding a way to utilize Bouchard necessarily, his shot. It's not coming easily, that shot. They have to find a way to feature it a bit more. I'm not exactly sure what they have to do, but it is something that's can break down the defense, and it doesn't seem like there's a natural player to pass to him to make that pass, and I'm not sure why. Maybe it's just the way maybe it's on Bouchard. He's not setting up properly. He's not looking for the shot enough, not getting in position to shoot. That could be it as much as anything. In fact, that's what I think it is. There's a lot of good passers out there, but he's got to figure out a way to set up for that shot and always be ready to take it, because he didn't make one major contribution to a power play grade A shot, Evan Bouchard. And he wasn't terrible or anything. He actually made one really great play where he jumped in the air, knocked down the puck, and Draisaitl put it to Hyman, who didn't hit the net. He hit the side of the net. That was a great play and close to a great shot. But
his best work was keeping pucks in right at the blue line a few times, and then a couple other times he just flat out bobbled pucks at the blue line, and out they came. But it was he's got some, like, a couple times I thought he overplayed his hand, but he's pretty cool hand, Luc Bouchard, and he was able to make plays under pressure right along the blue line a couple times, even on his backhand side. And he was hammering them away. And then on the other hand, he got that time that Adrian Kempe went around him. Oh my goodness!
Yeah, he got whipped.
He looked like he was in the wrong league on that rush.
So. Beat him like a rented mule, as Darren Detition used to say. Maybe he still says it. I don't. Remember him on ITV?
I sure do.
Yeah.
And of course on TSN for many, many years.
Yeah, he was the hot shot.
Dutch. Yeah.
Bruce, my bad thing. And Stuart Skinner wasn't bad in this game. In fact, he kept the Oilers in this game early on, gave the Oilers a chance to get in the game. That said, the first goal against, and he had just made a really good save. I can't remember who it was on, but then just a few seconds later, an outside shot from Dubois, which he clearly saw, and no screen. And it's a save Stuart Skinner will make 95% of the time, if not more. And it just went through him. And it was a hard shot, but he just missed. And this is so, like, we haven't seen this in a long time. It seems like it's been 2 months since we've seen Stuart Skinner muff a shot, an outside shot like that, but he just muffed it. And that was it. if the Oilers were going to win this game, he was going to have to steal the game, and the Oilers were going to have to get lucky, shooting on the Kings, because they only had 10 grade A shots, as we said, and most half were on the power play, if not more. So he needed to steal the game, and he just couldn't get it done. So my bad thing is that particular play, not his overall game, but that play, he needed to make that save.
Yeah, it looked to me like he anticipated the shot going to the top corner, and he started to move his arm towards the top corner, and the puck zipped right in through his, the armpit hole, 6-hole or 7-hole, whatever they call that one, between the stick arm and the body, and went through him. And, it was just, he guessed as opposed to reacting to the actual shot.
Yeah.
And boom.
Boom. Boom. Up until then, I was thinking, this might be an typical Oilers win where they come out crappy and get it together. The goalie keeps them in, they get it together, and then they find a way to win. But, the Kings were not going to let that narrative unfold tonight. They were going to win this game, impress their new coach, and they did so. And
beat their hated rivals that knocked them out of the playoffs the last 2 years. I mean, they're pumped to play the Oilers, and they were pumped tonight.
Indeed. Thank goodness the Oilers managed to win that Anaheim game. Like, just think how depressed we'd all be if they had lost that one. That's why it's so crucial to win the games you need to win, right? Like against the weak teams, you got to win those games. And so this trip was a bad road trip, just one win in 3 games, but they did get that win in Anaheim. So
yeah, it wasn't a disastrous road trip with coming home with 3 L's.
What is your numero?
Yeah, this number probably describes tonight's game as well as any. This is block shots. And by the LA Kings, 25 block shots. By the Edmonton Oilers, 5. 25 to 5. The Oilers actually had 70 shot attempts to 41 for Los Angeles, and yet the actual shots on net were even at 26 to 26. And my experience of looking at these kind of stats is that I will actually take the team that got the higher percentage of their attempted shots on net, even if their number of attempted shots wasn't that high, because it means the shots they are attempting are clean looks. Whereas Edmonton wasn't getting clean looks because there was traffic in the lane all night long. So Edmonton missed twice as many shots as LA, 18 to 9. And like I say, that was a 5-1 ratio of shots that were blocked. So stick tap to Cody Ceci, who blocked 2 of the 5. And the other shot blockers were Bouchard and Ekholm with 1 each. And McLeod was the only forward to successfully get in the shooting lane tonight.
I mentioned, I wish Evander Kane blocked the shot late in the game there. That one got through and they scored.
That is just an absolute ass kicking in terms of, and to me, it says something about defensive structure, but it also says something about that dreaded word that people hate, compete. And if the Kings had more of it, Kings were prepared to pay the price in this game. And they're also more prepared to initiate the physical contact, but I'll leave that to you and your number to dig in a little bit more deeply. Meanwhile, in LA, we had 3 block shots for Roy, 4 for England, 6 for Doughty, 3 for Anderson, 3 for Gavrikov. I mean, that's their defensemen, and they're all like 3+. And it's like not even. It's like
Drew Doughty,
no comparison. Yeah, Drew Doughty
with 6 block shots. Good for him. And Mikey, I think he's a dirty player, but he's one of those guys I wish he was an Oiler. He is a very good hockey player. Like he's a solid defensive defenseman.
Bit of a meatball.
Totally. Cement head.
How about that? Just. Yeah, anyway, I did not like that run he took at Zach Hyman, and neither did Zach Hyman.
Yeah, that was good.
And I also didn't like Evan Bouchard just kind of casually skating by and not responding in any way, shape, or form to that dirty hit.
Well, Anderson did kind of get...
Closest teammate. Well, he did kind of eat the boards a little bit. Right.
Yeah, he smashed his head into the boards.
But he tried to take out Hyman, and
He
that
did.
attempt deserved some kind of pushback. And
Yeah. All right. My number is hits. Evander Kane, who I praised earlier, he had led the team with 4 hits. Not one other forward, Bruce, had more than 1 hit. And all of the bottom 6 guys, I gave you the 3s or 4s in this game because they just got nothing done. They didn't get a ton of ice time, of course, at even strength, but they got nothing done. And you want to beat the LA Kings, you've got to get in there on the forecheck and hit them because their defensemen are solid defensively, but they're kind of slow. This isn't the fastest group of. This isn't the fastest team or the fastest defenseman. You can get on them, you can get after them, you can hit them, and you will have success. And the line, Evander Kane's line did have success. Draisaitl, Kane, and Perry. They were strong at even strength, but that was a really weak effort from the bottom group of forwards tonight. And we'll get into that right now. Right now, it's our conundrum. What do you think of this bottom group, Bruce? Is this the group that's going to take them to the Stanley Cup this year? Or do they have to make changes, bring in another player or two and replace some of these guys?
yeah. Well, a little tiny bit of production would not go amiss. I mean, you got these 2 vets on the 4th line now, and Janmark and Brown. They killed penalties together, and mostly they've been pretty good, although they had some trouble last night. Mostly they've been good on the penalty kill, and they do some good sort of mucking and grinding in the course of the game, but they never ever score. Like ever. They got 1 goal between the 2 of them all year. They're forwards.
I
1
know.
goal. And Janmark got the goal when he was standing in front of the net once and somebody's shot hit him and bounced into the net. That was his goal. That was against Vegas, I think, way back in the shootout game that they won. And, it was but they have, neither one of them has shot a puck into the net in the entire season. And maybe you got room for 1 guy like that, but holy cow, 2 of them that can never, ever, ever score.
And Holloway, Fogle, and McLeod just got nothing done. I thought this line was going to be really good because these guys can all play hockey. Like they're fast, they can move the puck, but they're just lost right now. They just seem disorganized, discombobulated, ineffective, and not on top of the opposition. The opposition is on top of them. So
Fogle 2 shots, no hits. Holloway 0 shots, 1 hit. McLeod 0 shot attempts, 1 hit. And I think the leading statistic was 2 times that Holloway went offside and messed up a promising rush by not timing and hitting the blue line properly.
Oh, that'll piss off your teammates.
Yeah.
Especially in the NHL.
One was kind of the fault of the extra move outside that line, and the other one was just he went into ahead of the play, anticipating a pass that never happened. And
so these are all good players, though. And we've praised them all at different times, and we've all said good things about them. But they're gonna really have to crank it up. If this is the 6 that are going to be the bottom 6, they're going to have to do a lot better than they've done in the last handful of games because it's been an area of real weakness for the Oilers. And I think they're going to probably go back to CC and Nurse as well fairly quickly here because Desharnais has been okay, but I'm not seeing the necessary puck moving ability that you'll need to play with these top Oilers forwards. And CC's not Bobby Orr, and he's not even half of Bobby Orr or a quarter, but he's better than Desharnais. And maybe they're identifying here an area of weakness that they are going to have to. Maybe this is where they're going to have to. I think they have honestly 1 big trade in them, right? They have their first pick this year. They can make a trade to get a good player. and maybe it is going to be for a right D who can move the puck better, because if CC's not great at it, he's okay-ish, but Desharnais is not even that. I mean, maybe he's just kind of like mediocre, at least when he's playing with the top players. That's how I
Well,
see
this
it.
has been a test the last two games where they pushed him up into a higher role. In both games, he was on the ice for 2 goals against, one at even strength, one on the penalty kill. And, so given that push, the early results are not promising. I like the player. I still like the player. It's not going to change, but I didn't like his game tonight.
I like him too. He's been really strong in a bottom pairing role, but
mm-hmm.
I think you like in our numbers with the grade A shots research that we do, we will often see the bottom pairing defenseman look pretty good by that metric. But I always think it's the second you move up the lineup and play the tough defenseman like Darnell Nurse does and Cody Cece's done, you're just going to make more mistakes on grade A shots against, because you're playing guys who make you make mistakes. They just force you into it with their outstanding talent. And it is so much more difficult for a defenseman to get the job done in that role. So it's not unusual to see people having success in the bottom pairing that they cannot translate higher up the lineup on defense. So I think we're seeing that a little bit right now with Desharnais. He could still prove us both wrong, like all of us. Anyone who's thinking this, he could prove us wrong.
He's a fast learner.
Sure is
the observation I have of him. But these last couple games have been a bit of a learning experience.
I'm not saying he can never do it, because we remember last year, right? He came up, he was strong. Then in the playoffs, he was weak, and you're thinking, is he really an NHL player? Then this year, he's just been getting better and better and better in that same role as he had last year, to the point where they thought, well, let's try him in the top four, see how it goes. They're trying that now. I think it's a really good idea they're doing it. I think it's a good idea to do it now. But, they need to know where this team is and what they can do and can't do heading into the playoffs. But in terms of the top four, I would say both Kulak and Cece are better bets than Desharnais to get the job done in the top four, if that's the direction they're going to go.
Well, that's certainly what they seem to be trying with these shuffles the last couple games. It's sort of, well, before we make a trade, let's make sure we don't have a top four defenseman buried in our midst, or make sure we don't have a top six right winger in the new guy that we just got. That we just signed. Let's see how he does in the top six before we panic and give up a ton of assets and stuff to bring in someone else. Let's make sure we know what we got, and I would suggest that they got some answers in these two games and not necessarily positive ones. Perry was good last night, and they were okay tonight. I'm not sure I see him as a top six in a extended frame, though.
He's looked good. I've been surprised how much I've liked Corey Perry so far. And this KD Perry line, as they call it.
KD Perry, Kane, Drysdale Perry.
I don't know who the first one was to say that. It was said right after the trade the signing was made, but it's a very funny line.
I figured they just call him the pissy line.
Yeah, I've heard that one too. I like the Katy Perry line. Anyway,
they all kind of have sour game faces, eh?
Do they ever? They've been good.
Perry's is legendary. They showed a clip from Team Canada from like 12 years ago, and fuzzy-cheeked Evander Kane, young kid on a line with Corey Perry, and Perry looked exactly the same then as he does now. Sourpuss game face.
Glad they have him. Glad they signed him. I'm having a pretty good first impression. So.
Yep, he's not hurting the cause, and he brings some real smarts and stealth to the team. He does stuff that you don't necessarily expect.
Yeah. Well, Bruce, I'm going to suggest that we leave it there.
Stop talking about this pig of a game.
My problem is that I'm having
a plan.
It does sound like a plan. Just having a little trouble here. There we go. with my computer. I've got this new computer and it's very difficult to operate, or at least I'm having difficulty. Alrighty, Bruce, when is their next game? It's
Tuesday night at home against Detroit. It's a 1-game homestand followed by another 3-game road trip. So in other words, it's basically a 7-game road trip with 7 games in 7 different cities. But the middle one happens to be in Edmonton against Detroit, who is a better team than many/most give them credit for. Oilers were in very tough to beat them during their winning streak in overtime in Detroit.
and now Detroit's fighting for a playoff spot.
And they are, yeah. It's a big
but
game.
so are
for
the
them.
Oilers. So are the Oilers.
Yeah.
So are the Oilers.
Yeah, well, sometimes you get a case, and I saw 2 games like this today. One team wants to win and one team needs to win.
Yeah.
And the earlier one was Washington taking down Boston hard 3-0, and they just kicked the crap out of them. Boston had 7 shots after 40 minutes. I didn't watch the end of the game. I guess Ovi poached another empty netter at the end to make it 3-0, but Washington just dominated because they had to, they have to win games. And tonight I thought LA was playing like this game. This was a game they had to have with the new coach. And, there was a lot to prove tonight. And if they lost this game, they were going to be lost at sea. And they had all hands on deck and they had to win and they won.
Bruce, thanks for talking tonight.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
And in the meantime, and in between times, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.